Nashville is alive with music, sure, but creativity also thrives in our art, marketing, technology, food, and in every corner of our community. On Creative Assembly's The Spark podcast, our mission is to amplify Nashville's diverse creative voices, foster growth through shared journeys, and inspire a city that thrives on collaboration. Each episode will take a deep dive into the lives and passions of Nashville's most innovative minds. We'll explore their creative processes, the challenges they face, and power of collaboration, along with so much more. Welcome to the Spark Podcast, brought to you by Snapshot, a digital agency on a mission to serve with heart, execute with excellence, and build something bigger together. And now, here's The Spark.
Welcome to The Spark, where Nashville's creatives share how they build bold brands and braver businesses. I'm your host, Mark Scrivener, and today we're honored to have Kyle Bush with us, co-founder and CEO of Cumberland Creative. Kyle and his team grew from a dream to an Inc. 5000 award winner in just a few years, all while keeping faith, storytelling, and soul front and center. From cinematic video to purpose-driven documentaries, Kyle builds work that connects and grows. Today, we'll explore his journey from New Jersey to Nashville, how he's scaled a high-impact creative team, and what makes brand storytelling truly transformational. Kyle, welcome to the show today, man. You're excited to have you on. Your journey from New Jersey to Nashville and from Mississippi shaped the lens of your storytelling, I'm sure. Was there a defining moment when you knew video and creative leadership was going to be your path?
Yes, there was. And I think there was one earlier on in life, but I didn't know it at the time. So I grew up skateboarding.
Okay.
And in skate culture, video is everything. Like, it's all about the skate video and who's got the cool skate part and how it's edited. And we'd all wait for the next skate video to come out. When it came out, it was like a line at the skate shop to buy the DVD back in those days and watch it, right? And so I fell in love with video then, like the art of storytelling and the cinematography and how you edit and cut. And a buddy of mine actually started a production company in middle school, and we called it 601 Productions. It wound up just being a t-shirt company, but we were making skate videos for our friends, and we were like, hey, you pay us $50, we'll make you a skate video or whatever. And so I fell in love with video then, and I just thought it was so cool. Like, I have a vivid memory of probably 8th, 9th grade, like Monster Energy at the family computer, like editing a video from Go Skate Day and just thinking it was so cool. But then I grew out of skateboarding once I got into high school, playing sports, and social life picks up. And I grew out of video. I didn't really think about it. But I was always a content connoisseur from that point in time on. I really loved brands. And skate culture does brand really well. Like, brands mean something. They say something about who you are within the community based on who you support. And so anything I got interested in, whether it was football or whatever, I was always like watching all the content on YouTube, all the videos that would come out. But I didn't think about video at all from that point on until I went to college, was in Mississippi. I wound up getting a full ride to a college here, which was a total God thing, called Aquinas College, small Catholic school. And I was really distraught because I was going to go in the Navy after high school. And so I didn't go to college right away. I actually took a year off to train. I was going to try to go into special forces. And then my wife's family got sick, decided not to do that. And my wife was at college here in Nashville. So I came and applied and got into the school, got the scholarship, and I was here. And I had no idea, because my vision for the last 3 years of high school was like, I'm going in the Navy. And so I was really distraught, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I wanted to do something challenging. I wanted to do something meaningful. And man, I lost sleep over it because I was doing internships where I was sitting in a cube all day and just miserable. So the full circle moment when the light bulb clicked about video for me was I was actually interning at CJ Advertising, Arnie Malham, who we both know and love.
Yeah.
I was interning there. And great culture, great agency, really fun, but I still felt like I was just kind of sitting at a desk. And I was like, and I knew how good the culture was and how good I had it there. And I was like, okay, if I'm not fulfilled here, no desk job's going to fulfill me. But while I was there, they did a big video shoot for Better Book Club. And that was a light bulb moment of like, whoa, this looks legit. Like, this looks like a real career path. And then all these dots connected. My business partner, now roommate at the time, was working for a very small video company, just like him and one other guy. I was like, okay, when this internship's over here at CJ, I'm going to go try to intern with them because I really think this video stuff is very cool and I'm very interested in it. And I felt like this divine moment of like, okay, this is like my calling.
Wow.
And so that's how I got into it.
What were you, back in the day when you, in middle school, you were producing these skateboard videos? That's crazy. Where were they going? Where'd you put them out on?
YouTube. It was the early days of YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
So you were creating skater YouTube videos.
Yep. And BMX, but yeah, and put them on YouTube. And then at that time, there's all these different like websites that were like forums you can go to for like BMX. I think there's one called like Vital BMX, and you would upload videos on there, places like that.
Did Arnie offer you a job and you decided to go turn it down, or was your internship over and you knew that, hey, met Mike and we're going to go start this company together?
So I think I interned with him the year of my sophomore year of college.
Okay.
And so I still had a lot of college to go. And so it was like summer internship. I'm a sophomore. Maybe I was a junior. I think it was a summer after my sophomore year. And so there was like, no, I had to go back to school. But when I reached out to the video company, I was like, hey, I'm still in college. Like, let me try to sell some videos. Like, I'm a pretty natural networker. I'm thinking of all these people I've met through the Catholic community and just through like different programs that might need a video. And I was like, I'll work for free. I'll get good experience. If I sell something, give me a commission. And then that turned into like part-time, turned into full-time. And by the time I graduated school, I was working full-time, just cutting out to go to class and then back to work.
Yeah. When was the moment where it all came together of, hey, I'm going to be a partner and we're going to start Cumberland Creative?
Yeah, it was. I remember it very vividly. It was, we started January 2nd of 2017. And it was right as that Christmas break was happening in college where we felt like we needed to make a move. And so looking back, I have mixed feelings about how it all went down, but the short answer is like we were at the small video company and we kind of saw the writing on the wall from what we could tell, as young professionals, that we didn't feel like the company was being run in a way to where we could count on it to be around 6 months into the future. We had done revenue X for the year and then it was going to triple and our expenses were tripling. And we just felt like we probably we can either go down with the ship or we can jump off into a lifeboat and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And we were in a spot where we were both, and there's some other things that went on. Like we had these certain job offers that got reneged on with some changes, but we were both in a spot too where we lived in an apartment, 5 dudes, we had no expenses. I think our rent was $200 a month between the 5 of us in this 3-bedroom. Mm-hmm. And so we had nothing to lose, and that's why I would say I was very fortunate in my entrepreneurial journey. Cause if I wanted to start a company now, being 31 with a wife and 2 kids and a mortgage, I don't know if I would do it because it'd be pretty intimidating. Yeah. But then it was worst case, we'll just go get a job. Mm-hmm. So we were really lucky. But it was that Christmas break, whenever we kind of got the plan for the next year and some of these changes were made, that we decided we've got to make a choice here. And that's when we decided to jump off and start our own thing.
Wow. And look at you today, man. Cumberland Creative has grown fast. From 0 to Fortune, to Inc. 5000, and in just a few years. I guess, how have you balanced that rapid pace and maintaining soul and authenticity in your guys' work?
I don't know if I have, to be honest. We've tried, but it's been difficult for sure. And definitely a lot of lessons learned along the way. I think we did a really, really good job the first 6 years of balancing culture and who we were. But then as you grow, you're trying to manage the growth. And for us, we realized that we kind of got away from some core operating tenets that made us really successful for the first 6 years and kind of took it from being who we were, grounded in our culture and our identity, to something else that we're now recovering from. So we did a lot of really good work and we continue to grow and do great work. But, we found ourselves now transitioning back to our roots of kind of where we came from in the early days.
Yeah. Man, I, doing a little bit of research on you guys, I saw your core values and they make out the acronym GRIT. GRIT was important to you. Is that right? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So our first core values we set was an acronym for GRIT. It was growth, respect, yourself, each other, and the company. I was for integrity. T was for tenacity. And it's we're built on grit. This is what that means. We've since evolved it to growth, grit, and gratitude are our three main core values. But grit's our backbone, and it's in the middle for a reason, because it is 100% what separated us and helped us be successful.
Yeah, wow. Who, I guess, in those early days of you getting the company up and off the ground, you guys go out on your own. You probably, funded a little bit of it as you got it going. Yep. Did you have some people that kind of helped you along the way? Who were some of your bigger, mentors or influences as you and Mike and your first business partner were getting this thing up and off the ground?
It's a good question. We were built on mentors. That's one thing I've always, I'm not great at everything. One thing I've always been good at is finding a good mentor and getting somebody to help me walk the path. The first one that made a huge impact on our business was a guy named Mark Stoner.
Okay.
Do you know Mark?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. He was in EO here. He owns a company called Ashbusters.
Okay.
But we did some videos for him. We got really involved in the chimney industry. But I remember he took us through this thing he would take other chimney companies through called Blue Collar University, where you do this thing called the perfect day exercise. You build out your 5-year plan. You put all your processes on paper. And he really challenged us, man. He was like, you guys are thinking way too small. Like, because he asked questions like, okay, 5 years from now, like, what's your dream amount of money you're making? What's your dream for the company? And he was just instrumental for us in those early days, like coaching us, guiding us, helping us understand what good business is. I can't thank him enough. Like, we would not be here without Mark Stoner, 100%. And he has such a special place in my heart for that. I almost view him like a business dad or like a second dad in a way. So he was really, really big. And then another guy from the chimney industry, Darren Bebo, was a big mentor. And he helped us a lot. And he actually gave me the quote that right now is the biggest thing in my head and has been throughout my entrepreneurial journey, which is, I think we were really thriving. We were crushing it. We were growing really fast. And I was like, asking him about like, where do we put this money? And like, what moves should we be making? Who should we hire next? I remember him telling me like, this is all great. We'll talk about that. But first, like, times are good right now. And he was like, if you want to thrive long-term, you have to first be able to survive. So before you think about all this ways you're going to grow your company and money, like, what do you have in place to make sure that you can survive if things go south? And that stuck with me and like has radiated of like, if you want to thrive, you have to survive. So he was huge. And then you, I think right at that point we met. I forget exactly how we met, but you coached us, you mentored us, you came to our company retreats early on, and man, we would not be where we are today without you. Like, that's for sure. Well, and so you played a really instrumental part in our progress.
No, I didn't ask that question for, vanity's sake, because I know you always have surrounded yourself with really smart people. And, I admire that, man, because a lot of times agency owners and founders, they just don't, they don't ask for help when they should. And, I've really respected that from you.
Yeah.
I guess what's been a leadership lesson maybe that you've had to learn the hard way?
I've learned so many of them. I would say the biggest leadership lesson that I've learned is that you have to be all in. If you're not all in, and I feel like that's one I just learned, if you're not all in, it's not going to work. And there will be repercussions. Like, if you're 1 foot out the door, if you're fooling around with this on the side, or if you're daydreaming about getting out of the business, or, what else could I do? Or if you're just, I'll let them run it and I want to, like, I don't know, you have to be all in. You have to be like, I'm here for the team, I'm in on the projects, I'm in, I'm all in.
Yeah.
That's a really big one right now.
It sounds like just recently, was there a time that maybe you felt like maybe you weren't all in and you had to go back all in?
Yeah.
It's happened to me along the way too. And, but just keep going down that path.
Yeah, I think the biggest lie, and it's funny because I talked about this at EMP. I know the Airbnb guy, what's his name, Brian, I don't know, say his last, Chensky or something. He's been talking about it a lot. But you get this advice as you start growing and bringing on coaches and reading business books, and sort of this generic business advice of like, hire the right people and start removing yourself from the day to day, and you start focusing on other things and like trust them and get out of the business. And I do think you can do that. And I do think that's a path that's worked. I know people that's worked for. But that really backfired on us. Like, I should have been all in. And I would say over the past year and a half, 2 years, I started getting really excited about the growth we were having. I put the cart before the horse a little bit of like, I read EOS or Attraction. We got on EOS, and in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I built the leadership team. Now it's just going to run the business, and I'll be off to greener pastures where I can podcast all day or show up when I want to and just be the exciting visionary, and the business will run itself. And I think there was some pride in that, and thinking that I could just get that right the first time, and it was that easy. Like, I read Traction, now we're doing EOS, everything's fine. And I think that what I realize now, and I think good intention then, because I was trying to, delegate and trust, but I struggle with black and white thinking. And so I think to me that meant like, okay, let go. Like, I'm letting go of the business. Everybody else is going to run their functions of it. And I'm going to, focus on other things that might be fruitful for our next chapter. And that really backfired.
Yeah, man. It's a very valuable lesson for agency owners and business owners. Just like that lesson has happened to me too before. I remember, having an amazing leadership team, and I was telling a guy here who owns a print company, his name's Matt Sims, and I was like, Matt, man, I'm more the visionary. Like these guys run the operation. Like, I leave them alone, they got it. And he goes, Mark, man, that is the biggest mistake you could ever make. And I was like, man, why would you say that? And he goes, nobody is going to own the business like you own the business. And it really stuck with me because that actually, we had some challenges through that period of time, very similar to what you're talking about. You hired great people, you trusted them because maybe they even came in with more experience and knowledge than what you thought you had. But the one thing that I've found is that many times they just don't have that second core value of yours, which is the grit, and you probably found out the hard way,
Yeah.
But I guess like, just getting more on a positive note, like what you guys have done some amazing work over the years. It's been inspiring to watch,
Thank you.
Your trajectory as you've grown and done amazing work. Like what is one project that really like stretched you guys creatively and that you're maybe the most proud of?
Man, that's a hard one. And yeah, all the negative things aside, it's been great. And our team has done amazing work and it's been so much fun. The one project we're the most proud of. I think the one that stretched us the most that we are very, very proud of, I don't know if we're the most proud of it. It would vary depending on who you ask. But we did a documentary for a company called Heart and Soil on seed oils and like the truth about seed oils and kind of debunking, exposing the corruption and what they really do to your body. And it's like a 40-minute documentary and it's awesome. And that's the first time we've ever done something kind of at that length about something that we're really passionate about. And very, very proud of that one.
Yeah. You know what, Kyle, I'd love to, if there's a link out there, I'd love to add that into the show notes just because I did watch that documentary and what I thought was going to be a favor to you of like, hey, I'll watch Kyle's because I remember you sending it over saying, hey, man, we just did this. I'm really proud of it. And, I started watching it and it just sucked me in. It was so well done. And
Thank you.
The story about seed oils is incredible. And you were able to tell that story in a way that many people couldn't. So great job to you and the team on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, big shout out to Tom Dyer. He's one of our directors. He absolutely crushed that. And Eric Sharpneck, who edited it, flawless. And Matthew, who produced it. I mean, they really crushed it.
Yeah. What, you mentioned earlier the culture of the company, like in the early days, was amazing, inspiring, growth focused. Like, where, I guess, what were you doing back then that like now you said, hey, I'm going to take it back to that. We're kind of going back to that. Like, what is that? Because I think a lot of agency owners, I mean, even me, I look back at our early days and I go, God, I'm happy where we're at today, but those were some amazing times too.
Yeah.
What is it about that time period at Cumberland Creative that's so inspiring?
I think the first thing was our main business strategy. We didn't know it was a strategy back then. We were just, having fun. But the main thing is we hired the person first. And it was like, there's no other way I can say it besides like somebody has a Cumberland spirit. We would hire people who were like Cumberland through and through, which is, somebody that comes to mind for that is Matthew Ortiz, who worked with us, was one of our first employees up until recently. Just optimistic, friendly, hardworking, collaborative, cared about people deeply, like really got to know people. And we had this like family fun, like we had so much fun doing what we were doing. So it's hiring the people first and having that like family like atmosphere. And our mission from day one, which some people would call stupid, and eventually we kind of went away from this and we thought it was a smart decision. Now I realize it might have been our zag, the whole like whatever it is, zig or zag, like go the other way, is we wanted our people we hired to work for us for the rest of their lives. And that's what we were committed to. It's like, we want to make it to where you never want to leave. And like, this is not a stepping stone. Like, no, we want you here forever. And for a long time we had like zero turnover. Like besides one or two people, it's like everybody was staying 3, 4, 5, 6 years with no end in sight. So it was that. And then we also ran our business, speaking of grit, our grit core value, we would make people's budgets go further. And we ran our business in a very smart, conservative, scrappy way. And so we had a lot of stability that we could count on that allowed us to have peace and some freedom, do a lot of fun things. For a long time, it's like, oh, you just crushed a project. Like, here's a really special gift. Thank you. Really cool company retreats and just like small core team. And we were scrappy and we were efficient and we were making great money. And it was our mission from day one that we kind of veered away from that now we've brought back is do great work, love the process, make great money. That's what we exist to do. And if we act like every other production company, we're going to get the results of every other production company, which is tight margins and a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So that's the two main things: people, hiring the person first, and then running a really healthy, scrappy business and doing it different.
Yeah. What was it about the culture that people just never wanted to leave? Is it that they felt like they were a part of like your success? Cumberland Creative success was their success?
Yeah. Yes. It was like we were all aligned on the mission was one thing. And our BHAG, we were all aligned on. We were all striving towards it. And it was just like we were working hard. And when it's that collaborative, like you want to work hard for the team. Like you want to put out for the team. As owners, as employees, and we would all win together. We'd celebrate together from gifts, profit sharing, et cetera. But we were really all bought in on the vision. And the biggest thing, like what we've said kind of is like how we're going to operationalize hiring that right person, that Cumberland person, is like, would we want to go out to dinner with them after a 12-hour shoot out on the road? If you wouldn't find yourself looking forward to like have drinks and dinner with them after a 12-hour day in some random city, they're not a fit. And the other metrics like the company retreat. We do a company retreat every year where we try to get out of town for a week and we really just hang out and have a good time. It's like if you're not excited to hang out with this person on the company retreat, they're not coming on board. And that's something we strayed away from because we were trying to hire the skills, It's like, well, this person, we can't keep it this tight little family thing forever. And we strayed away from that. But I think that was our zag. That's what made us different. That's why our client loved us, because the work is good. And our team is amazing creatively. But there's a lot of people who can do really good videos. It was like people felt like they were part of something special, a family. Even our clients, when they worked with us, like, man, these people are just fun to be around. Like, they have something special and they feel like a part of it. That's what made it special and what we're trying to get back to. And we haven't lost that all the way. It's still there, but it's just not thriving to the level that it could be and should be.
It's interesting how every agency evolves over the years, and it's great to hear we're getting this back, and that I've always been inspired when I've talked to you and the team, and just those retreats that you put on. It's a huge investment that you've made in getting the team away for a week to have fun and plan for the next year. And I'm sure it's not easy as an agency owner to think about, God, I got to make this big investment, but it seems like it's been a game changer for you.
It has. I think it's been really fruitful. I think we've always looked forward to it, and we've left with deeper relationships, and it's definitely been a key part of our culture.
Yeah. What was there, I guess we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but just a moment when Cumberland Creative had to recalibrate on your vision, and when did you know that? What was the moment you knew, God, it's time to get back to?
We did it Monday. This
Really?
past Monday, we recalibrated the vision.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was probably a little bit long overdue, but you start with the vision. As you grow, you hear things like, well, what got you here won't get you there, and you have to evolve and all this stuff. And going back to what the Airbnb guy says a lot, right, is no, what's the heart of the company? Even if it doesn't make sense or sounds crazy to the rest of the industry, that's probably a good sign that you're headed in the right direction. And I think in meaning well, we were trying to grow with the company and not limit the company's growth. And I think the vision just got a little bit blurry, where it's we were always specialized and focused on authentic storytelling, real people, real stories, and being a culture first boutique. We only want to grow our bottom line. We're not worried about vanity, revenue growth. And then, we started doing more ads and we started doing other stuff. And I think we just kind of got distracted, and we started feeling well, are we trying to become a digital agency? Are we staying a video agency? Are we going to be the stadiums of the world where we're just doing really big budget ads? There's all these different directions that were appealing and that looked like growth to get to them. But now we've kind of narrowed it back and been here's what we love doing. Here's what we're really good at. Here's what we're unconsciously competent at. And here's our right to win work. If it's hey, I got a lifestyle brand, I want to do a series for YouTube on the athletes we sponsor telling their story and telling our brand story. It's that's our right to win. I'm sure there's some other people out there that can do that well, but for the budget, we can probably do better than anybody else in the world. That and a brand story video, right? That's up here. And then, the next thing we really love is applying that same level of authentic storytelling to hey, I got a company. I want to tell my brand story of who the company is, what makes us us, that sort of stuff. So we recalibrated the vision, be real human impact stories, people first stories is what we're focused on.
Yeah. Well, as you've grown, I can only imagine, there's a lot of, guys and girls in the marketplace that are going to go start their own video agency. And now it's your time to give back, and they ask you to help them out. What do you think is a big misconception that's out there around starting an agency? Maybe even more specifically, a video agency.
I know the advice. I don't know if I know what the biggest misconception is, but I know the advice I would give.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest way to be successful is you have to, if you want to grow and you want to scale and you don't just want to create a job for yourself, you really want a company, I think you have to have somebody who knows how to do the work really well, and then somebody that knows how to find and sell the work really well. Because otherwise you're on a loop-de-loop where it's you find the work and then you have to deliver it, and then you don't have any work because you've been focused on delivering it, and then you're focused on finding the work, and so it goes. But what we were really lucky with is and we didn't plan this out really, it just kind of happened this way, is Mike was in the early days shooting, directing, editing everything, and I was finding the business, creating, doing the creative direction and concepting and selling the business. And so we were able to I was focused on growth, he was focused on delivery, and that's how we've grown even as we've added, employees and staff. And so I'd say that's the advice I would give is you have to have those two brains, and I think they have to be two different people. So whether that's a partnership or it's a key hire, I think that's the main thing. And then if you are doing it by yourself, you've got to learn sales.
Yeah.
The work is here's the biggest misconception. Just being talented and doing good work does not mean that you're going to get a bunch of work coming to you. I think a lot of people think I can make great videos, I'm going to make it, when I post it and put it out there and have it in my reel, people are just going to want to work with me. It's maybe, probably not.
Yeah.
You got to know how to sell and prospect and do all that.
God, it's so important. That's the dilemma of the freelancer.
Yes.
Is that doing the work, and then now I got to go find the work. Yep. And 10 other projects just pass me by. and now I got to go find the work, you know? And so.
Yep. And then the only other biggest piece of advice I would give that we did early on and we kind of strayed away from is find a way, no matter what you're doing, to create retainer revenue. If you're just project-based, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
And stressful.
That's a great lesson. I guess, you know, let's say, you know, big company comes to you and they're needing a brand video. Like, how do you and the team, how do you guys spark like the very best ideas? What approach do you take?
You know, I think it just goes back to like reality is stranger than fiction. Another way to put that is like reality is more interesting than fiction. What we have found is like when you focus on real people and real stories and not trying to like craft a narrative, but rather to capture it, for us and our best work, that's where the beauty's been. We've done brand anthems where we've written a script and we've done these cool things and they're really cool. But I think the most impactful ones are the ones where it feels so human when you're watching it and it's authentically connecting. Like that's our genius. And I think the key to that is, I don't know, our team just has a level of like, I can't even put my finger on exactly what it is, but we just know how to pull that story out and like capture it authentically. Like the biggest compliment we could get is somebody watches like a brand video that they made or a story or a video on their story and they feel like you just really captured who we truly are. Like the vibe, the way it's cut, it feels like the video feels like us. That's a compliment we've gotten a lot. It's like, it just really feels accurate. It feels like us, like this is us. And I think it just comes back to like, don't try to force a narrative. Like people are interesting. Everybody's story is interesting. Just capture it.
Yeah. Well, it's like a super high quality like video agency in town. I'm sure that you get asked by other agencies to, hey, could you help us out with this video for our client? Like what have been some of the best collaborations you've had? Maybe just some like of the worst. What goes right and goes wrong when you're collaborating with other agencies?
It's a good question. I think what goes right is whenever there's clear communication up front about who's responsible for what and kind of what this relationship's going to look like. So I'll shout out Fox Fuel, for example. Awesome to collaborate with them. We've done a lot of video projects with them. And, you know, Michael over there has such a clear vision. He knows what he wants. He communicates it well. And then he trusts us to do our part. And then he gives us clear feedback and notes. And it's very much like a relationship of mutual respect and accountability. I would say what goes wrong is whenever we've worked with agencies in the past where we're the scapegoat. It's like, you know, our competencies are producing the video, but they don't really want to give us that much leeway because maybe they haven't done that many videos and they own the client relationship, but they don't know how to check the client, for example. Like we had one project where we needed to find like influencer talent for it. And it was a smaller project. So it was like some local influencer talent. Like maybe let's find somebody who's Nashville specific, like 30, 40,000 followers. And so we look in there and then all of a sudden they were getting fed these ideas by the client of like, well, can we get like, I'm talking like Hollywood level movie superstars to do this. And we're like, I mean, we can ask, but like there's no, like these people are going to charge $1 million for this. And because of that, we chased that rabbit for so long, then we didn't have the talent locked in and shoot days were coming up. And then we got thrown under the bus of like, well, the production company's just not being as proactive. And it's like, we've been trying to tell and help guide you guys here that like we really stay on schedule. Like we have to make a decision. We have to narrow their options. Like these influencers aren't going to do it. They're too big. Like, and that's stuff we had experience with and why they hired us. So we had some influencer experience. So that's a story to illustrate. Like, you know, you have to trust us and know what you want us to do and then give us that rope and then vice versa, like communicate well the vision that you want and how it should go.
Yeah. That's interesting. How has video evolved since you guys started the firm to today? Like what, I mean, you've seen a bunch. So how is it shaping up today?
Man, it's evolved a lot. I feel like we really got in 2017. We got in the sweet spot where it's like everybody needs video, et cetera. And I think it's grown from being, the barrier to entry just continues to get lower. I think that's the biggest thing to say. And video has changed so much and authentic storytelling will never go away in video, like mini documentaries, you know, brand storytelling. But this AI stuff is crazy. And I really think that the way it's evolving now, like it's going to be, what we're seeing is people want things faster and cheaper. And you can't blame them for it because there are ways to do things faster and cheaper. So I think that'll be the fight for video companies, like, and even for clients, because the AI stuff has a place, like quick social content has a place, but there's a difference between like social content, quick content, and like brand content. And I think what's going to be the challenge is to see like, can we keep those distinguished of like, you can't expect brand content to get turned around at the same sort of rates and timelines as social content or AI driven content.
Yeah.
So that's a huge evolution that's happening right now that none of us know what's going to happen with that. You know?
What is the, what's the AI that you're using today that may make the job easier, workflow better?
I think the biggest one is ChatGPT, hands down. You have to train it, you have to give it a lot of information, but man, it's really good at the way we use it the most, I use it the most is just info dumping and help me make sense of this. Like whether it's a new concept or a new idea, or like, we're trying to pitch this series right now that we have to ideate. It's like, man, just getting all the ideas out of like what you want to do and kind of what you're thinking, like help me make sense of this. It can really help you get more clarity and take like this and make it to this. And then you can take it to the funnel and make it to this and like narrow down on the idea. And then there's some basic stuff like Opus Clips, great for cutting social content out of long form things or podcasts. Midjourney has been awesome because we've been able to, in creative briefs or in decks, we've been able to create images that look exactly how we want them to look and feel on set to better communicate the vision.
Wow.
And so that's been really helpful in the pre-production process. Yeah, but those are the main three. But we'll see how it evolves because some of these softwares are crazy. And I've seen like Riverside. Did you see Riverside put out an AI reel?
No.
So they're fully embracing like AI, and they put out like a full AI reel that looks insane of like commercial level work.
Yeah. We use Riverside on these podcasts. So
I'm talking about Riverside Entertainment here.
Riverside Entertainment.
Yeah, here
okay.
in Nashville.
Yeah.
But Riverside's great too, the podcasting platform. Yeah.
Riverside, those are good guys.
Yeah, they are.
So,
they do great work.
Yeah. What, I guess, what's one practice, habit, or mindset shift that you've had that's made a real difference in the way you run the agency? Just running an agency is hard, and it wears you down.
Man, there's so many like one-liners, but I think the biggest one right now is you have to be all in. I think that's the biggest mindset thing. Like if you're not all in, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've picked up quite a few things that you've put out there today, just of, the grit and the being all in to, your agency, and it's going to be a grind and it's going to evolve over time. But, even that having a sales first mentality as the owner, is super important as you're running and building an agency. And if you don't have it, I'm sure it's okay, but you probably need to surround yourself with someone that does have it, because you talked about the power of having just an amazing partner, which you have.
Yes,
so,
I do.
You've shared a lot of great knowledge today for the audience. And, just to kind of go into like the rapid fire as we kind of wrap this up, is there a book, a tool, a podcast, something that you're doing today that's inspiring you?
Ryan Holiday's books.
Okay.
They're all life-changing. Right now I'm reading The Right Thing Right Now.
Oh, okay.
So that one, insane. It's been really good. I also read like Discipline is Destiny. Like that whole series is really helpful to me.
Okay.
So love those books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the most influential book in starting my business, and I think running it successfully. So that's a must read, I think. The other book that's really helped me a lot has been Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Oh, man.
Really good book. So that's books. What were the other parts of the question?
Well, just podcast.
Yeah. I think Drew McClellan's podcast is great. Love that. I love Diary of a CEO. I think that's a great podcast, just hearing from iconic founders and business people and how they think, how they talk, how they approach things really helps me. Like just for me, it's all about surrounding myself and trying to intake as much as I can that has like a spirit of abundance to it, of people who have been there ahead of me, accomplished more than me, think bigger than me. That's the biggest thing that helps me, because you can get caught up in the day-to-day and all of your problems and all of your agency and just the people you're surrounded by. But all those people on your team are counting on you to be the catalyst for growth. And it's hard to as much as I'd love to get coffee with you once a week and get the chit chat and get that inspo, it's hard to do that. So like EO has been huge for that, just surrounding yourself by people who are going to challenge you to think bigger and pull you out of the weeds. And I really love Diary of a CEO for that reason, because he has huge guests on, and man, you just this person built a multi-billion-dollar company, and just hearing the way they talk and the energy they bring, it's like it really makes you want to step up and raise the bar.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing those. What? How about taking it all the way back? What advice would you give a younger Kyle Busch before you started Cumberland Creative?
I think I would tell him, be honest to yourself about what you want. Because I think what I want is to have fun working every day. I want to do great work, love the process, make great money. That's what I really want. And I think at some point, as the company was growing and I'm reading more about entrepreneurship, getting involved in EO, I was like, I want to be like a big time entrepreneur, and I want to like really grow something sellable. And like, I don't know if I really want that. I think what I want to do is do great work, love the process, make great money. I want to come in, make work that I'm passionate about, that's really good, and it has excellence, and it's leading the charge. I want to enjoy who I do it with and how I do it. I don't want to feel burnt out. I don't want to feel like I'm working with people. I want to have fun in the process. I want to have fun on shoot day. I want to have fun at dinner after the shoot. And I want to make great money. And I want my whole team to make great money. And so I'm not in it to build something soulless and sell it or just focus on EBITDA. Like, I'm in it for the soul of it. And I think that's what I tell myself.
Yeah, man, that's super powerful. Over the years, I mean, I've just watched some of the work you put out, from everything from some major firearm manufacturing videos that were incredible to that seed oil documentary. And I know you're working on a documentary right now, and I don't know if you can share anything on it, but when you told me a little bit about it, like, God, I was really like blown away. But maybe you could just take a minute, just knowing you're passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah. This is a complete passion project, but we were awarded funding by EWTN, which is a great iconic Catholic television network, like started by a really beloved sister in, I think it was the 70s.
Okay.
And she started with this mission of like putting out Catholic content, like content you could consume and nurture your faith. But they've engaged us and, rewarded us or awarded us funding to create a docuseries that's been in my brain since, 2019. I'm like, I would love to do this one day. I don't know how, but I'd love to do it. And so the documentary is called In Jesus' Name, an exploration of the ministry of exorcism. And so I met with this priest, Father Dan Rehill, here in Nashville for some spiritual direction and to talk about some things that, I was kind of concerned about. I grew up Catholic, had a big conversion. I was baptized Catholic, didn't practice, had a big conversion in high school. And I got interested in things like spiritual warfare. And, there's some things I just want to talk to him about from my past and from my wife's family of origin. So I got together with him, we hit it off, and I was like, man, this guy is awesome. He's so fascinating. And also the stuff he was sharing with me really helped my spiritual life about spiritual warfare. And so I was like, man, who knew that? Like, I'm sitting across from this guy. He's like this New Yorker, great personality. And he's telling me how 10 minutes before I left where I was sitting, somebody was levitating off the chair, because they're possessed by a demon. And I was like, this is really happening like today in modern times. And it was fascinating. But so we're telling this story, and our goal is to use the allure of the occult to bring people to God. So we're interviewing like three main exorcists, Father Dan, Father Vincent Lampert, Archbishop Grob. We're interviewing several people who used to be involved in the occult and oppressed or even possessed to some extent themselves. And then some like leading thought leaders and writers, etc. And it'll be 3 45-minute episodes. And we're trying to make it, this is like the peak, the epitome of what we always wanted to do. We have great creative control. We have great budget. And so it's like we finally have that project that's like, when we're at the Airbnb after a shoot and we're watching these cool Netflix documentaries, like, oh, we want to try that and that. Like, this is a project where we're pulling out all the stops, we're calling in all the favors, and we really want to showcase what we're capable of. So it's been so fun, so cool, and I really hope that it'll do some good.
Yeah. When's it come out?
So we're wrapping interviews next week, actually, which is a huge milestone. So it should be out. It's a little up in the air based on how the post process goes, but probably next year. Definitely in 2026 it'll be out.
Yeah. Amazing. Can't wait to watch it. But Kyle, I guess as we wrap up, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask you that you think would be valuable to the audience?
No, I would just say something's on my mind lately, for what it's worth to anybody watching, is just speak life. Words cast spell, speak life over things, It's been very impactful. I think it's easy to complain. It's easy to find problems, but it's so important. Your words do, life and death is in the power of tongue. Like, speak life over things. Know that your words cast spells. So if you're talking about doom and gloom and things falling apart, they will. If you're talking about things being super successful and abundant and, Arnie in his book I'm reading, Worth Doing Wrong, read that book if you want to start a business. He talks about having a core value that's almost like the opposite of paranoia. Like, paranoia is a fear that everything bad's going to happen. Like, embracing the mindset like everything's going to go right for you. And I think that's invaluable.
That's great advice. There's so many powerful things about that. Visualizing, taking time, meditating, visualizing like what you want your life to be and how the universe conspires to give you those things that you ask for. And, versus the opposite of complaining, and the universe typically conspires to give you more of that, So it's a great piece of advice as we wrap up the show. And Kyle, I just want to say thanks so much for being a part of this, being a part of the Spark podcast and Creative Assembly and all the great work you and your team are doing out there in the Nashville market. But thanks for being on the show and imparting all this great wisdom for us today.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me. And thank you for everything you've done for me. You have been instrumental in my life as an entrepreneur, and I would not be where I am today without you. And you've been there for me above and beyond what you ever needed to be. So thank you.
Well, thank you, brother.
Thanks
I love you,
me.
man. Yeah.
I love you too.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Spark. A big thank you to Kyle Busch for bringing both strategy and story, and for showing us how growth can happen without losing character. If you love this conversation, hit subscribe and drop us a review. It helps more of Nashville's creative leaders find the spark. Until next time, keep cultivating courage, connecting with your community and telling your truth. Stay inspired and keep that spark alive.
And that's a wrap on this episode of The Spark from Creative Assembly. Thanks for spending time with us and exploring the minds shaping Nashville's creative future. If you're walking away more inspired, connected, or energized, that's exactly the point. A big thank you to our sponsor, Snapshot, and the incredible team behind the scenes who make this show possible. Your support fuels every conversation and keeps collaboration alive. So if you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, stay creative, stay curious, and keep that spark.